Growing up in Canada, it always seemed to me like science fiction happens somewhere else.
What worries me is the precarious state of the fantastic in Canada.
We as Canadians must ask ourselves, just what are our stories?
We still have a wilderness.
Even in Toronto, a few ordinary suburban houses back onto gloomy ravines.
Just who are we?
Canadians ask different questions and want different answers.
We still have this sense of being on the edge of civilization, clinging to that strip of sun next to the border.
It was really weird because it felt like I lived in a very futuristic place, a place where lots of different cultures were coming together, where there was all kinds of high-tech and entrepreneurialism, where people were trying different ways of living.
Canada is science fiction.
But good literature needs more than just places.
Canada is a story.
We used to keep a bibliography of all the Canadian writers, and it covered 3/4 of a page. About 10 years ago, we gave up keeping a list of all the Canadian authors because there were so many.
When I moved here to Toronto, it was amazing because I suddenly realized this is where it happens. So much great literature comes from right here in Toronto.
Seriously, we're strong.
More and more in this field, we're starting to see strong literary qualities emerge.
Because Canadian speculative fiction matters, and it kicks ass.
These are serious stories.
Canadian writers of the fantastic are producing an immense body of work, and it needs to be recognized inside our own borders.
And if you just don't tell them it's Canadian, they will love it.
We've moved away from a British identity, but are wary of moving too close to an American one.
What strikes me is its sense of place.
I'm putting Canada where it belongs in the future.
It's because it's our duty as Canadians to celebrate our own, to promote and support Canadian literature of the fantastic.
Writers of the fantastic are every bit as worthy of literary awards as are their mainstream colleagues.
Most literary awards celebrate the mundane.
Not all Canadian fiction has to strive for a poetic realism.
Writers such as Guy Kay, Tanya Huff, Julie Czerneda, Robert J. Sawyer, and Charles de Lint have been known worldwide, but in Canadian literary circles somehow they don't count because they're genre writers.
Science fiction, horror, fairy tales, the weird stuff, according to my colleagues.
These aren't pulp adventure stories with two-dimensional cardboard cutout characters running around a spaceship or fighting some monster.
The Sunburst Award showcases homegrown talent, and it deserves to continue. And to gain a stature that is equal to other Canadian prizes, I strongly support the Sunburst Award.
Not just for the authors, but for the fans who want to know that when they crack open a Canadian book, there'll be magic inside.
Right now, the Sunburst can use your assistance.
Help protect the Canadian fantastic.
Because if we don't do it, you can sure as hell bet nobody else will.